G'day viewers, how we doing? I think audio's going out, yes. Looks like Xbox is going out as well. Fantastic. How are we all doing today? I've been watching Matt. I've slept through most of his stream, I have to admit, but I went to bed at about 11 PM and I got up again at 7 and he's still going. And he's just hit 12 hours 50 minutes and he's raised £2,629 and 51 pence for the charity Special Effect, who specialise in doing game access for people with different needs. So please feel free to watch Matt's stream at the same time you're watching this one. You're absolutely more than welcome to do that. In fact, I will put a link into the chat. You're absolutely welcome to watch both at the same time. I don't mind at all. I don't even care if you turn my sound down and just listen to Matt or whatever you want to do. Very happy to support what he is doing. So, New York, Trenton on the Xbox Air. So I'm going to have to turn around this way. Let me bring this mic with me so you can still hear me. That looks touch. Yeah, that looks all right, levels-wise. Mark B, Michael Newberry, Alphine, how are you all? I think there's some others too, but they haven't popped themselves into the chat as yet. So let's get going with this on the Xbox. Now, I'm going to start off with the same one that I ran last time. The Acela, and I'm going to run the same service because I have no imagination whatsoever. Did I just select the main timetable? Hang on. Yep, I did. Good. It's alright, I did the right one. I was worried for a minute there. Now I'm going to run the same one, which is 2150. How do I get back to the search? That's not what I want. Oh, Xbox. There it is, 2150. Yay, that's the one we want. Now, we'll start with this one, but I'm open to your suggestions for services. So please feel free to chuck in your suggestions into the chat. It's a little hard for me to see the chat when I'm playing on the Xbox, but I will try. I'll have to keep glancing over here, and of course I've got Matt running on the screen as well, because, you know, I can. Alright, let's get the Acela set up. And we've got the frame rate thingy on. Oh, come on. Okay, now I should be able to open the doors. Let's get up from here and go and turn on our safety systems. I did a run yesterday just to familiarise myself with how to actually use safety systems on the Xbox. Because, you know... There we go. Axis, ATC. So Axis tells us about the civil speed limits like curves and bridges and other exciting things like that. ATC stops us running up the arse of other trains. Can I say arse? I suppose I can say arse. Americans just say ass. But in Australia, an ass, well, it's a donkey. And that's enough said there. Oh, you know, I look at this little thing up here, and I reckon that's a camera looking at the driver, but, you know, who knows. Right, now what else do we have to do? We have to start reducing our brakings down to minimum, so it starts charging up the train. Front headlights are on full. Ditch lights are on. Let's get a window open, because this train's a bit boring without a window, because it's so quiet. Right, we're rating till 6:56. That's not long. What else do we have to set up? Let's get into forwards. I don't think we need to turn on anything over there. I think it's all good. Now, I do have a keyboard that I'll be using as well. And as usual, I won't be using the cruise control on the Acela because I want to drive. So, I actually know how the Acela goes with this, and I know what happens at New York Penn, and those of you who are members of my channel also know, because I put a video up yesterday that showed what happened. If you're not a member, that will go live for you sometime after this stream. I'll switch it over to public. Oh, it's time to lock the doors. Very good. In fact, we're late. We're late already. That's okay. No, it's not. Let's power it up. How's the Xbox sound levels for you guys? I think it's very quiet for me because I've got it turned down in my headphones, but is that alright for you guys? Matt's currently driving out to Lancaster by the looks of it. Looks like he's not far off getting there, actually. So let's get up to 45 miles an hour. Let's put a bit more grunt into the girl. Sounds extremely wrong, doesn't it? Maybe I won't use that phrase again. It's an interesting thing, though, because, you know, I've been involved in railways in real life for a very long time. And locomotives are always girls. Don't know why. It's probably just some sexist thing, but it's just how it is. It's a bit like on the footplate. Excuse me, still got my cold. Sorry. On the footplate, you're an engineman. It doesn't matter what your gender is, you're an engineman. And I would have to suggest on today's footplate on the railway that I operate on, and I won't call them out, but a lot of you know anyway. There's the alerter. On that railway, it's the most unsexist place ever because we have every imaginable gender operating on the footplate. And we're all enginemen. It doesn't matter what we are. It doesn't help that we use rules from 1929. We're allowed up to 135, so let's give it all the bananas. Ooh, that was a funny little drawing that happened there on that ALP46 that we just passed. Xbox does do some funny stuff sometimes. Oh, the bell's still going. Let's kill that. I'm going to leave the frame rate counter up all the time today. Because I want to see how this goes. Now, the only things I've done in preparation for today's stream is I have reduced the DLCs that I have installed. I've got New York Trenton, I've got the Acela, and I've got the Long Island Railroad installed, and that's it. So we're getting all the layers for this route in the big timetable, but we're not stressing out the Xbox. I've also just rebooted it, so I was running a different game yesterday, as some of you watched. And just to make sure it's all nice and clean, I gave it a reboot this morning. Alphine asks, are there passengers now? No, not generally speaking. There are in the train. Let's see if we can see some. But there aren't many on the platforms, and I believe... terrible with controller. The alerter again. I'm sure I've seen some in this carriage. Let's come back down here a bit. Uh-oh. That's alright. No, it's not alright. We're speeding. Penalty brake. So we're going to leave the throttle on for the moment while we're braking. And then we can release. And then reset our throttle. And let that sit for a moment. Now I can accelerate again. I think there are some passengers in the train scattered throughout it, but there's not many on the platforms yet. That is a known issue. Yeah, I did see in the patch notes they say they addressed the missing passengers, and I think on some stations that is true, because you do see them wandering around now. But I don't think it's quite universal. I think there's still somewhere they're missing. I think they're missing on New York Penn, for example. But I believe they know why. And it will be addressed. See if we can find some. Just going to throttle that back down so I don't go over the speed limit again. You know, I'm sure I had some when we left. I'm sure I saw people leave. I don't think they have any now. They've all gone. Clearly, they're aware of my driving skills. And they've gone, nah, we're getting off. but that's okay. Heading off to Newark, Penn is a long way away, 40 miles, but we're going pretty quick, so we'll be fine. I'll just get our speed back up to where it needs to be. How are people going this weekend? I don't expect to have a big audience today, simply because Matt's stream's on and most of my audience is watching it. That's fine with me. I think British Ace is streaming right now too, which doesn't help, because he and I share a lot of people as well. But that's okay, I am very happy to share. We're allowed up to 150, max Bananas. Who's met Max Bananas? He's a nice guy. Another ALP-46 with its train, and the funny little drawing spasms that it has with Xbox from time to time. Down a little now, because we're approaching 150. I like to stay about 5 or so under what we've got to be. I'll let it edge up sometimes, but I try to stay a little bit below the speed limit. You don't really need to maintain the speed limit to do the timetable on this route. Well, if you're doing the commuter or stopping everywhere, you kind of do, but these long runs you don't. And you'll get held up anyway if you go too hard. Just got a win in Apex Legends. Congratulations. Fantastic. Good deal. I'm going to adjust my monitor after this session, because I'm looking at this thinking this is really bright, but then I'm looking over at the stream monitor that I can see in OBS and it looks quite nice. So I don't think it is that bright. Interesting. So I think it's just adjusted this way on my monitor. I share this monitor with my work computer. Seems strange sharing an Xbox monitor with a work computer, but there you go. How are we travelling now? 34 miles. We've already done 6. There's the alerter again. I like the water on this route, but I like the water on Vorarlberg and East Coast Main Line better. I'm quite looking forward to the new one, Peterborough Ormskirk, and whatever the other branch is that I can never remember. Because that's going to be a new opportunity to model the sea, and we'll see how they go. We're going to see how they do the sea. It's all good. I need to do some braking. We'll be fine. There we go. All good. I need to do some more braking because I've got a 130 coming up. That's for the curves. I like the new HUD because it lets you stay ahead of the game, even if you don't know the route. So the little track monitor on the right hand side I find quite excellent for helping you to stay on top of what's coming up. Now, it doesn't show ATCS speed limits because that's involving trains, but it does show the fixed things like curves and bridges and the like. So you can slow down to the right speed before you get there. And I can start powering up gently now because we are going to go back up to 145 shortly. Fly through the corner with our tilting behemoth. On the Acela, the carriages tilt, but the locomotives don't. Still surviving okay on the frame rate. So if we put this frame rate in context, we're getting down to 24 at times. If you go and watch a major motion picture in the theatre, you're actually watching 24 frames per second, and your imagination fills in the gaps. Don't know if you knew that, but you do. On most television programs, in most places in the world, you're running 28 or 29. US is different. I can't actually remember what NTSC runs at, but it's a different frame rate. Now, if you're running in Ultra HD 4K through your streaming service, you're probably doing a little better than 28 or 29. It's more likely to be in the 40s. A few little dips into the red back there. We can certainly expect that to happen. So it's working okay. Is it as good as the PC? Well, no, because I've got a rig that gets 125 to 150 FPS. But is it quite playable? Yeah. Now, down at the New York Penn end, I will warn you, it's a bit of a slideshow in some areas down there. But we'll do okay. Ah, yes. This train. I wanted to go look at this train, didn't I? I wanted to look at it yesterday. So it is an Acela. See, I thought I was dreaming yesterday when I caught this thing out of the corner of my eye. Because it's an Acela, but it's coupled to some amphitheats. And I saw it yesterday and I thought, did I see that? I didn't see that. I couldn't have seen that. But yeah, I actually did see that. And here's another Acela. So we've got an Acela with some amphitheats on the back, which is just... yeah. We were a long way from our train there, if you're wondering what happened. Yeah, I haven't reset my throttle, have I? Another LP46. So I do like some of the static stuff that they've sprinkled around because it's a bit different. It's just kind of cool. It's interesting. Hello, Richard. What have we got in the chat here? Alfred is excited for a new USA route. So am I. I'll be switching back to beta after this weekend. I've only kept my machine on the public version this weekend in case the Xbox One goes belly up, and at least I can run the game on the PC if I have to. Alfred says, hopefully something with layers. Yeah, it would be cool. Richard says, g'day, currently driving along... oops, just gotta watch my speed. Currently driving along Clinchfield with the F4, watching you every now and again and surfing the web, the joys of American high-speed freight at 15 miles an hour. Yes, but you'll run 2 hours straight in Clinchfield and then you'll run into a red signal as you go around a corner. And even at 15 miles an hour, man, it can be hard to stop when you forget that. Green on the signal here. I'm still watching Matt Peddleston's stream over on the other side, so he's still going strong. He's, where's he getting? He's heading for Vincent Grade right now on the Lancaster line, Antelope Valley. We, on the other hand, are cruising towards New York, Trenton, and we have got 23 miles to go to Newark, Penn station. Put a little bit of power into it now. Alphine says, once you play OMS, you get used to 20 FPS. That's very true. Yes, you do. I don't mind OMSI. I've got the Australian Sydney route for it. It is a little bit of a slideshow. I keep telling people I'll stream OMSI and I never quite get round to it. I will one day. Richard has donated earlier today to the special effects cause that Matt is collecting money for. I think he finishes today in about an hour. Yes, he does. He's about an hour behind schedule, so yes, finishing in an hour is about right. And he has been going now for almost... he's probably hit 13 hours, actually. Where are we up to? 8:51? Yeah, he's just hit 13 hours of continuous streaming. So he's doing amazingly well to be awake. And he's getting away with it because his wife's in America. Thinking of being away. Next weekend there will not be a stream. If I get time, I will record something to Premiere and I'll try and be in the chat for it. But I will be travelling to Japan. I arrive there on Sunday morning. So I get there about, what is it, 2-1. Ends up being, with the time zone difference, about 1 hour before I'm due to stream. So I don't know if I'll be in the chat or not. If everything goes well, and the phone works and all those sorts of things, then I might be in the chat. If not, might not. But I might not get time to do it too, because I've got an awful lot of things to do this week. Got a major system at work going live, and I run the tech team. We have so many things to get finished. Unbelievable. It's time to do some braking. Time to do some fairly heavy braking, actually. There we go, we're all good. Because I was not watching the track monitor. Just keep the brakes on a little bit. Get down to the 95 that's coming up. Go, it'll do, brakes off, it'll do the rest by itself. So far so good. We're even getting... I actually saw a 40 pop up in the frame rates there. That was a bit of a surprise. So, yeah, looking alright. Alphine says, there's no other game like OMSI, even Bus Sim just feels mundane. I'm told the Bus Sim 2018 is not too bad. But I should stay away from the other ones, because the newer version of Bus Sim is apparently a bit crap. Alphine says, I must stream their trains. I have picked up a 5G eSIM for my phone, so I guarantee you there will be content from their trains. Now, I'm not sure about live streaming, because the etiquette in Japan is quite different to the Western world about privacy and streaming and things like that. So I'll have to be a little bit careful. If I can get into a place where there's not an awful lot of people and I can do it without being able to see other people up close, I don't mind in the distance, but up close wouldn't be good, then I'll do that. So I've bought enough gigs and I've bought enough speed to be able to stream. So no promises, but I will be trying to do that. At the very least, I'll record a whole lot of stuff. So we'll see what happens. Where are we up to now? 16 miles to go, so we're over the halfway mark. Cruising along quite happily. We're going to see this route a fair bit today. Just gently accelerating, because we don't get back into the heady speeds anymore. In fact, I'll come off the throttle a little now. My first day there, I'll be riding a bullet train. Got a little bit of red in going in the frame rates there when I switched from outside to inside. Alphine says, maybe play a Japanese game in your hotel. Well, that's possible, but I'd like to explore Japan, since I'm there. Richard says, the problem with Clinchfield is that you can't read the speed out low speeds. The horn cord covers everything up between 5 to 30 miles an hour. I like driving by the seat of my pants. Yep, that is very true, that it's often covered up by the horn cord. Now, I just noticed something. In the Xbox version, the alerters aren't going on the ALP46. It's different in the two builds. I always thought they were the same. They're clearly not. Going downhill again now, so I've just got to watch I don't end up going too fast. We can watch the tilty action happening. Alphine says, well, I explored the subways as well. Yes, we'll be using subways quite a lot while we're in Japan. It's the best way to get around. So the first few days Obviously, I won't tell you exactly where, but we're in Shinjuku. We're actually staying in the red light district, just for amusement value. The next few days, we're in Shibuya. And for our last day, we're in Saitama, which is where there's a really big JR train museum. It's the biggest train museum in Japan, so naturally I'm going there. That means we have to travel 2 hours north of Tokyo by train. So we'll be riding JR to get up there, and we'll be using one of the smaller regional trains to finish that journey. So we have to change halfway. That should be pretty exciting. When in our Shibuya part, we will be staying a stone's throw from the biggest metro station in Japan. And if you look on YouTube, most tourists who use it get lost because it's huge. It's kind of like a shopping centre with trains in it. But there's lots of trains. If you think about, from an American context, if you thought about Grand Central, or even Penn Station for that matter, multiplied it by 10, that's what this place is. It's massive. So in a Melbourne context, if you took Flinders Street Station, Spencer Street Station, joined them together and multiplied it by 5, you'd pretty much have the Shibuya station. It is enormous. And I think there's 5 operators that run through there, something like that. So on our when we get there, I'm just going to use an Uber to get to the hotel. I'm just going to sacrifice the cash because we will have been travelling. It's only a 10-hour flight to Japan, but we have to get up pretty early and take a flight to Sydney to make that flight. And we will have been travelling all up for nearly 20 hours by the time we get there. So I won't be in any kind of a mood to figure out and negotiate a subway. Pretty good. How are we doing for distance? 8 miles. I should stay in the cab from now on, I think, because we're going to be slowing down. So it should be really interesting. There's quite a lot of Japanese routes in TSC. And will I do a food review? Well, I don't know about doing food reviews on my train channel, but I might on my other one. Uh-oh. Actually get beaten even though I'm in a penalty application. There you can see it's already given up. Because I forgot to slow down because I'm a wally. That's okay. I'll have to stay in suppression until we get below the speed limit ahead of the curve. Now I can release. Just let the brakes settle. And put some... I'll have to go back and put this to off. And now put some effort into it because we are going uphill just slightly. I see YouTube spitting out an ad again. Hello, Rails of Illinois. I thought I'd managed to figure out how to stop the mid-roll ads, but clearly not, because YouTube just spat one out, didn't it? Corner. Is this New Brunswick? I think it is. No, it's Elizabeth. Ah, yes, those curves. Alright, back up to 110. It won't be for very long though, because I've only got 5 miles out, so go a bit easy. I have YouTube Premium as well, Alphine. I have the, I actually have Google One Family, which gets us some extra storage and YouTube Premium and YouTube Music. And it gets us, what else does it get us? Support. We have actual support from Google. So I bundle all that together. Green signals, and I'm about to go too fast, but when I cut it back, I had a look just in time. The buzzing sound you get back there from the transformer farm. Now we're only, what, we're 3 miles out. I'm actually going to start braking. I started doing that just as the 70 turned up on my track monitor, so let's head for the 70. We've got plenty of time to get there. We cruise through the Newark International Airport Station. And we've got a yellow signal coming up, so I'm actually going to brake a bit harder because we're probably going to get pushed down to 45 or less. So I'm just going to start heading there now in anticipation. Come off the brakes and just let it cruise now. Because by the time it actually finishes coming off the brakes... Oh, there we go. As expected, we've reached suppression and should be able to come off anyway. Now I've got to put a little bit of power in because we are going uphill. Called Google One, yes, that is the program. I'm in Google One for another reason too. Let's just say I play with maps. But that's an entirely different thing. I love it when a shot like that works out. Got the power off, just letting gravity do its thing. Because we are going to get knocked down to 35 for our approach into the station shortly. Because of some of the things that I've got access to in my other life that's nothing to do with trains, I run what's called Titan, which is a different login security method than to what most people are used to. Which I have to say plays havoc with streaming sometimes, but that's okay. Get over this. Matt is up to £2,709 and 16 pence, which is pretty amazing. He's got a goal of $5,000, so what he's raising money for is called Special Effect, and they are a bunch of people who make gaming available for people with disabilities. So it's an excellent thing to help out with if you can spare a couple of dollars. Even if you just put in the value of some coffee, then that's fine. If that's what you can do, that's what you can do. Half a day's pay into it yesterday, but don't tell my wife that. She's probably listening right now, actually. Guess she knows. Alright, let's get this beastie stopped. There's our mark. And we'll be able to open the doors in a moment. It's just in preparation for that. Go over here. Because I'll be curious to see if there actually are any passengers. It'll be interesting. I've seen passengers on PC. Hey, I didn't know the guards paddles opened up when the doors opened. How interesting. I've never noticed that before. The weird little things that are modelled in this game that you never ever see. Let me just drop in the link for Matt's thing. That's not the link to his charity, that's the link to his stream. Let's just copy this. There's plain text. There we go. That's his charity link. Wait until 7:29. So you see what I mean? You don't have to just go hard to make the timetable in this thing. So we should probably go for a little bit of a look around then. Something coming. Where is it? Oh, there it is. That's got people in it. Lots of them. See? It is my driving they don't like. All my people ran away. How many people get out? Because we've still got a minute and a half before we're allowed to leave over the other side there. All the cabines. See? Lots of people. Better be careful though, I don't want to get trapped in here. That would be kind of funny. I hear lots of people walking around, but I don't see any. When does he go? He goes before us. Well, actually, no, he goes at the same time. 7:29. There's a Keystone at 7:42. What about over here? Where do you go? Where's your screen? Maybe this platform hasn't got one. Oh, well, back to our train. Whoops, stuck in the roof. Because we're supposed to go at 7:29. It's almost time for that anyway, so let's get our doors closing. May as well. I didn't know they talk. I want to open them again now, but I'm not going to because we're supposed to go. So, brakes off. And away we go. Maybe. Maybe. Yay! We're only allowed to do 35 out of here. Welcome to the new people who have just joined us. See, Matt's still going. Charging away. He hasn't quite reached Lancaster yet. He's on the long run. This is a really impressive bridge structure, this one. Get our bell off now. It's truly impressive. And that whole centre span, I've probably mentioned this before on stream, so I'm probably boring the crap out of you, but this whole centre span actually lifts up. And while it hasn't done it for quite a long time, it's still capable, apparently. It's another ALP46 heading out. We're going through the Path station now. Path isn't included in this New York Trenton. Be cool if it was, be a nice layer. Oh, going too fast, going too fast, going too fast. It's getting, there we go. No, have to keep the brakes on for just a moment. There we go. We're good. But we are slowly passing the New Jersey Express over here. Hi. We have been allowed up to 60. The New Jersey train probably has as well. But we accelerate quicker than it does, a little bit. Now from this point I just sit on 60 for the rest of the route. Hello Brad MacArthur, how are you? Yes, all of those lift bridges on the east coast of the USA, and wonder how many of them have actually lifted in the last 12 months. Some of them do actually lift up every 6 months for a test, but I know that one, Amtrak's got some kind of permission that it doesn't have to happen because there's just too much traffic through it. John's S Gaming 347. Are there any changes to the route I played on the Xbox Series X, but I haven't gotten this yet? Not to the route itself, no, but there is to the timetable. It's a much bigger timetable. I'm currently playing on a Series S. You will have a better experience on the X because you have a lot more RAM, and I think the X's processor is faster too, if I remember rightly. John says it would be cool if they had the path operating. It would indeed. It's going uphill. A bit of push into this because I was too busy reading the chat as usual. It's a great excuse when you're screwing things up to go, oh, I was reading the chat. This area of New Jersey is remarkably wet. Quiet you. Yeah, forcing me back down to 60. Not unexpected. That's why I was kind of staying at 60. As we cruise through the swampy area. That's going to tell me I'm allowed back to 90, but I'm going to ignore it. Because I don't care. I'm just going to keep doing 60. Because I don't need to do 90 to make the timetable. And by the time you bother speeding up, it's time to slow down again anyway. Because you have to slow down for the bridges. If you're wondering how I manage the camera angles that I do when I'm streaming on the Xbox, I have a keyboard plugged in, so I can do all of them normal. Bit of an Amtrak special. Going much faster than me, clearly. He's not of the do 60 variety. Yep, already doing that speed, so that's fine. Shortest bridge shot, as you do. Speed up again, but I'm not going to bother. We're about to come through Secaucus. It's the last station on the New Jersey side of the route. Next stop will be New York, Penn. Hello Florian, how are you? You can watch both streams, Florian. I'm still watching Matt's stream on the monitor. Why not? I can't hear him anymore because I have to hear this game and I'm using Xbox sound. Because if I run the sound off my PC, it's quite delayed. Just warning all the Americans to get out of the way of the Acela. Investment pays, apparently. Jersey trains up this end of the route don't seem to suffer the conniptions that they do at the other end. Ooh. I saw something. Oops, can't get there. It's working! Oh, how about that? That's been fixed. That's cool. I want to go over here. No, I'm stuck. I want to go over here. Up, 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 up. Right, there we go. Got it. We're almost at the tunnels to go under the river. We'll be descending into the darkness momentarily. I'm glad you're well, Florian. See, Matt's still going. He's up to 2,709 pounds now, and he's approaching Lancaster, which I think is the last thing he's doing today. Let's just get some minimum brake on. Down to 60 on the axis. I'm going to bring us down to 45 as we descend the hill. Just in anticipation, because we will at some point get whacked by a speed limit change. And I've got plenty of time to make New York Penn, so I don't have to hurry down here. I'm not sure if this one does it, but sometimes you actually get stopped at a signal in New York Penn. It's happened to me a few times, where I've come out of the tunnel and I've got to do a tricky hill start in getting going without rolling back and spatting, because there's a signal right behind the train. You're skirted by signals at both ends, and the one behind you is red and the one in front of you is red, and if you roll back you spad. We're going to get pinged down to 30 fairly soon. So I'll just... There's our 45. I'll just head for 30 in anticipation. I can see lots of yellows coming up, but no reds. That's a good sign. Let's get it down to about 25 and then I'll release. Because it will speed up by itself, because we're going downhill. Florian says, must say I'm loving the updated timetable. Does reasonably well on the PS5. It's doing okay on the Xbox S. Much better than I expected it to. You'll see in a minute that we get a bit of a slideshow coming into Penn Station. But from the way people have been talking about this on the forums, you'd think it was a basket case, and it's clearly not. It runs okay. Almost finished the downhill bit, I think. It's a little bit hard to tell in the tunnel. Just letting it drift back up again, and then I'll pull it back down again. Now what I will say is that it works your PC, if you're running it on PC, or your console for that matter, so hard that if you've got any thermal issues in your computer, or you've got any RAM time issues or anything like that, then you will be in for a little bit of pain, because it works your hardware very, very hard. Mostly the CPU and the RAM. So if you've got any issues in that department, it's probably not going to go well. In the uphill bit now, but the back of the train's still in the downhill bit. I don't know if I can actually go up there. No, it's going to chuck me out. Oh, we can see outside anyway. But should be almost at the point. Yeah, I think the speed's settling. No, we're still speeding up slightly even though we're going uphill, because the back of the train's still coming down the hill. I think we're starting to drift backwards in speed now. We are, so let's put some power into it. Don't want to go too hard though. Looks like Matt has reached Lancaster. I think he's changing routes. How's he going for another one? Okay. Still got 3 minutes to get into the station. Most of the train's climbing the hill now, probably all of it by now. You can see the darkness up here. That is Penn Station itself. Brad says that he has read and heard so much negativity about this route and it looks fine to me. I mean, it does have issues, it definitely does. But they're not, it's not a basket case. They're not insurmountable things. And that's what you'd think if you took all the comments to heart. Florian says, I have a feeling that people who are complaining are on PCs, which are not quite up to spec. Yes, very much. It took me a while to get my PC working properly. I know Michael and I were chatting on email earlier. He's still got a bit of an issue. I'll try and help him sort that out. And Ben Davis says, what is the timetable we use? Updated New York, Trenton on, thanks. Has there been a fix the PC let? I'm running today I'm running it on Xbox Series S. I am running the full timetable. And I ran it last weekend for 4 hours on my PC, and it was. I mean, it has its stutters and conniptions and things, but it's fine. Bit of stuttering, bit of hitching. Nothing particularly unexpected. I'm not sure if that red at the end of the track monitor there. Ah, there's an alerter going on an ALP 46. I'm happy now. I thought they were different between the PC and the Xbox. I was thinking, that's a bit weird. It's hard to tell if there's any people in that one. I think I can go into the station. Having some flickering issues on the left-hand display when we're in New York, Penn. At this point we're still doing okay on the frame rate perspective, but you'll see in a moment that it will turn to poo. It's still playable, but it is very low. I think yesterday when I played this to see how it went, it got into the 10s. What sort of frame rate are you getting on the PS5, Florian? I know on PC I dropped from in here from 125 down to about 80. So it does take quite a hit. Oh, I'm going to be late. Oh no. Not very though. Not enough that I care. Rails of Illinois says, please turn the bell on. Well, I'll do that when I get into the platform, mate. I'm not going to do it yet. Oops. Get our throttle off, get our minimum brakes on before I get pinged for going too fast. So we are having some significant frame rate drops now, and it is a bit jittery. It's a bit jittery, bit hitchy, bit stuttery, whatever you want to call it. I like all these different terms in graphics terminology, but they all really mean the same thing. But start thinking about stopping this, I suppose. Not quite there though. I have to get quite close to the signal. Otherwise, our bum's not in the platform. It's very important to have your bum supported. I think we're there. Should be able to stop here, I think, and get away with it. Yep. Let's open the doors, turn off the Beelzebub. See some Long Island things running over there. Let's go have a look while our doors are doing their thing. I'm stuck on something. We'll just look at it then, since I don't seem to be allowed over there. I'll do it this way. There we go. No, I still can't go over there. Well, there's the end of my run. So as you can see, it wasn't terrible. It's alright. God! There you go. Okay, what do we got in the chat? Rails Vanilla said, we've turned up with the bell. Alphine says, I wonder who controls the New York Penn signals since we have so many different agencies, LAR and New Jersey Amtrak. Do they use universal signals? Yes, there is a signal box that covers everybody in there. Return to timetable, actually, is what I want to do. I'm still not used to that. Now, the ALP46 and I don't like each other. So we're going to do a fairly short one on that, 62:31. Got Ben's nice music. Oh, I haven't done. I haven't changed trains. Oh, that one. We'll run everything. There it is. 62:31, New York Penn Station to Montclair University. It's only a quickie. Or we could do Long Branch to New York Penn. Nah, let's do Montclair. What are we up to? Brad says you dropped to 80 FPS, poor you. You know, mate, it cost me a lot of cash to actually have a 80 FPS. So it's, yeah, poor me. Michael says 40 here. Florian says, yep, it stutters on PS5 too, but nothing worse than some other routes. New York Penn can bring the PS5 down to 15 to 17 for as well sometimes. And Michael Lee says 3080 FPS 40. That's pretty good on the 3080. You should be quite proud of that, I think. Did that just die? That might have just crashed. I think it did, because we selected a train, didn't we? And it's gone all the way out. That's boring. Alright, let's go again. Maybe that's one of the ones that dies. Let's try the same train again, though. So we do the full timetable. Whoops, no, not Amtrak. Back. I want that. And it's on last played, so I did pick that one. Let's try the same one again. Let's see what it does. If this dies, I'll just pick a different ALP46. Matt is doing another route. Bloody hell. I don't think he's ever going to go home. Rails of Illinois, no politics, please. So, that one clearly doesn't work. That one's a dodgy one. So that is 6231. Let me just write that down, because I'll put in a bug report about that. That's not cool. So let's see if we can get another ALP46 working, because I'll be a bit sad if I can't. But I know there are some trains that just don't work on different platforms, and I'm hoping that's what we're running into here and not running into something a bit more detailed. Let's try this one, Long Branch to Penn. So it'll be coming back into Penn. I kind of wanted to leave Penn, but that's okay. We'll get onto that at another time. This one's going to work fine. We need to put our reverser into forward, and then we can open the doors. Now, if I remember rightly, safety systems on this one over here somewhere. There they are. So let's turn on access. ATCS. And our squealy little friend. Back in the chair. Get some windows open. Because it's obviously hot in here. Getting our passengers loaded up now. Headlights, headlights, headlights. Where are headlights on this one? Headlights are on dim. Okay. Oops, I can't get on that for nuts. You know what? I'm just going to cheat. I'm going to use the auto. We want those on. Go on, auto. Don't want the rear headlights on. Pantographs normal. Brakes are cut in already. I think we're about ready to go. Let's lock the doors. Doors have closed. I think they have. Brakes off. Let them pump up a bit. We can start putting some power in. I've clearly never driven this train on Xbox before. The ALP46 and I do have a bit of a checkered history. It doesn't like me. To be honest with you, I don't like it right back. Have to, don't we? Not going to bother doing all the rigmarole though. Let's get back in the cab. There's a little bit of dynamic braking to keep us under control. We go down the gentle hill. Says there's new other versions of the ALP46. Going the wrong way on the brake. That's okay. Florian says, Paul, which service is that again? It is 6231 for the ALP46. Rails of Illinois says, why do locomotives not have air conditioning or heating? They do. That's your air conditioning control panel right there. Some older ones won't. Cruising. Well, I think we're allowed up to 25 now. Florian says, same reason cars have at Rails of Illinois, driver comfort. This is true. The LP46 does take some getting used to, as does the NJT cab car. I'm actually better at the cab car than the LP46, which is bizarre, because it's, you know, from the cab car, you're driving this. We can power up now to 45 by the looks. What I'm looking at is that green semicircle on the left of the speedometer there. That's telling me how fast I'm allowed to go. And it's showing 45 with a circle of tolerance up to about 46 or 47 where it'll leave me alone. We're now allowed to go up to 60 with a bit of a tolerance up to about 62. So our track speed limit is in fact 45. It's just gone up to 60. So we'll just keep accelerating now. One thing I really do miss on the Xbox is the speedometer that I have on the rail driver, because it means when I'm outside the cab, I can keep an eye on my speed without using the HUD. Hello, Ben Davis. Rails of Illinois about to ask why older locomotives don't have it. Because railways hated their drivers. Simple enough. Ben Davis. It's the best Xbox to get. Series X or S for this game. Still use the original Xbox. I would get an X, Ben. If you can afford an X, get an X. I have an S. The S is okay. Oh, we haven't got the frame rate thing on. The S is okay. It does the job. So if you can't afford an X, don't sweat it. The S will do the job. But if you can afford an X, you will enjoy it a lot more. Consoles are actually a great way to get into the game, because a good console costs less than a mediocre gaming PC, generally speaking. So if I didn't do a whole lot of other things with my PC, I process photographs, I process videos, I do all sorts of things with it. Then I would, I'd just play console. But I need the PC for other things, so I have a PC. But I also have a console. In fact, in this house, there's, both belong to my son, but he's a PlayStation person. And he's got a 4 and a 5. We've probably got a 3 and a 2 and a 1 kicking around somewhere too. Sitting out in the garage or something. Now, same with the other train, I'm not going to bother speeding up to 90. There's no point. Power to make sure we don't go over 60 going across this bridge. Shall we do a gratuitous bridge shot? Of course we shall. Seems necessary, doesn't it? Why don't we spend a little bit of time with this one? I haven't used photo mode on the Xbox. So if I go reduce the... how do I actually do this thing? Move around with the sticks, but how do I control my settings? LT? Okay, so now I know it. Oh, I'll just take the screenshot. I'll figure this out later. You don't need to watch it. Train's gone. And I'm... Whoops, wrong one. I want this one. A little bit of service, back to lap. Just to bring my speed down just a little bit. There we go. Release. Daniel Robert Jowett, hello sir, how are you? Florian says I always stay at 60 along here too. I thought it was just me. No, it's just easier. Now, are we stopping at Secaucus? I think we are. No, we're not. Going straight into New York Penn. It's time to make a bit of noise, isn't it? What goofballs were coming. Glad you're good, Dan. Anybody that doesn't feel like chatting too, absolutely welcome to lurk. Don't mind that at all. I think we're getting a better frame rate in the ALP46 than we did in the Acela. See, the Acela must be quite texturally rich to have that issue. Smacked in the face with a pentagram. John's S Gaming 347 says, I'm still trying to get used to the lapping braking system. The trains that I operate on in real life are lapped brake trains. I have no dramas with lapped braking systems. The game's actually fairly realistic, I have to say. How well the electric braking works on this thing. It's rheostatic, I think, on this. How many have we got? We've got 10. Okay. Because I want to get us down to 45. I probably don't need that much braking, though. Just using the trains. Now, you might call it dynamic braking, but I think on this train it's rheostatic braking. Basically the way lapped brakes work, John, is you put it into service and back into lap very quickly, and that will take a minimal application. Most locomotives, that's about 7 pounds. And if you're just slowing down, that's fine. But oops, go this way. If you... That should be okay, because I need to get it down to 35 soon. It's still going down, good. If you need more, you just put it into service and back into lap again, and that'll do it another 7 pound bite. Going to have to do some braking, or I've got an overspeed penalty, but I'm in suppression. I might get away with that. Maybe. Is it going to make me stop? No, it's releasing the brakes. But we are almost going to stop anyway, I think, even though it's releasing them. No, it did actually make me stop, because it sat there and held the 50 pounds for a little while, and then back to 80. Well, there you go. So even though I didn't have the brakes in release then, it was still doing the application itself, because it kept increasing the air. Let's just come off the electric braking for a little while. Just let this cruise back up to speed again. John says he always puts in too much brake when he does the NJT routes. It's actually a little bit hard to judge this one. In theory, you only need to take out probably 2 nips, so about 14 pounds, and that should put you into suppression. That should be enough. I'll let this speed up a little bit, because we're going to have to slow down soon anyway. So if I just get ready and I put it into lap, I'll show you what I mean. So I'll just let this get up to about 30 mile an hour, and then I'll show you. You can just leave it sit in lap, that's fine. It's not what you would normally do. And interestingly, that label down the bottom where it says hold, most braking terminology, that would actually be running rather than hold. So if I go into service and straight out again, on this train it does 20 pounds, so that's quite a heavy application. So I actually am going to release it. I know the braking on this is supposed to be fairly prototypical, but it's not what I'm used to. But it's the same concepts. Passengers, we are now approaching New York, Penn. Please get your belongings, your children, your suitcases, your bags, your briefcases, your laptops, your service animals, your entertainment animals, and perhaps your gibbon, and prepare to get off my train. If you have a gimp with you today, make sure to take them with you. They get sad when they're left by themselves. Alright, we are starting to go uphill. So I've gotten completely off the brakes now, and I'll put some power into it. Not a lot, though. John asks, I wonder, would they ever add the Amtrak route from TSW 2020 to where we can go from New York Penn to New Rochelle? I wouldn't say never, but I know there's no plans for it. That route was very much abandoned. I don't know if any of it made it into this one. I know New York Penn's not from that route. And I know they built these tunnels from scratch because in beta they changed quite dramatically during the course of the beta testing period. Got the barber pole on the top left there, spinning down to our Go Via location. We don't appear to have any red signals except the one at the end of the platform. Let's just pick up a little bit more speed. Hello Andreas, how are you? Looks like Matt's still going too. He's up to 2,752 pounds even now, which is half of his, just over half his target, which is pretty good. By the way, Ben, if you're into the Xbox, by all means stick with it, but you don't really have to. Let me just chuck Matt's link in again. That's the link to Matt's donation page, where he's taking donations for the charity that provides pathways into gaming for people with disabilities. Let's put some instrument lights on because we're going to need them in a moment. Michael, in that service that you're having trouble with, have you tried a different service? Just to see what happens? Now, most of my train will still be going up the hill, so you're going to see this go flat soon. Cruise our way through. I'm pretty sure that yellow signal up there is for me. But I am a little bit concerned that that other red signal's very close. I don't think we're going into the platform just at the moment. Just going to take some power off, because I think we're stopping before the platform. Although it might change when we get to the Go Via. There's quite a lot of services that come in here. And they, Yes, I was, Michael, asking you. There's quite a lot where you have to get to the Go Via and then the next signal goes green. But you've got to be a bit careful because sometimes they don't. So we're almost at the Go Via. I'm ready to put a lot of brakes into this if I have to. I'm going to go into lap, in fact. And I'm going to put a lot of brakes into it. I'm going to go into emergency, in fact. And it went green. Look at that. Of course it did. Fair enough. Let's get some power on if it'll let me. I'm not sure if it'll let me. While we wait for the brake pipe to recharge, that will take a little while. Yes, Richard, Matt has raised £2,752, which is quite amazing. 5,000 Australian dollars. Very, very humbling to see the generosity of people towards those that need some help with their gaming. He's laughing at me now, that bloke over there. I'm just going to come back off the power and come into it again and see if I'll be allowed to take some power now. Hasn't actually released the brakes yet, has it? We might have to wait for a penalty. Because I think PCS has probably popped open when I went into emergency then. Let's just go up and do... It's going to handle off and sit there for a moment. And then come back down and release. So I'm just trying to remember the process to release. There we go. Now let's try and take some power, because that will release in a moment. And I don't want to roll back, because there's a red signal right behind me. There we go, brakes are coming off. It's letting me take power. It is. Very good, there we go. Sorry, I had to remember how to do it. Hello, Cat. How are you? How is... Actually, you're not in Queensland yet. I was about to ask how's Queensland, but no, you're not there yet. Okay, let's get off the power. Richard says, I'm not a fan of the lap brakes and these NJT locos. I get caught out with them too. Yeah. They, I don't mind them. But they take more air than I'm used to. I'm used to 7 pounds at a nip. A nip is the term when you go into... No, we're going down there, it's fine. A nip is the term when you take some air out of the system. So you go into service and back into lap. Now, we don't call it service either on ours. We call it application. So our brakes have charge and release, then running, then lap, then application, or service application if you want to be really strict about it, and then emergency application, going around the dial on ours. Now, coming into the platform here, looks like the frame rates have stayed fairly stable. That's not too bad at all. Quite happy with that. This is a dead-end platform, and I don't really want to run into the wall at the end. Yeah, it definitely takes 20 pounds as a minimum nip. That should be enough to bring us to a stop anyway. Almost at the stopping point. Oh, look at that, it dropped. Oh, I get what it's doing. It's using the dynamic brakes, so it took some air, and then it took the dynamics and it dropped them back. Now, we're not quite at the stopping point, so I'm going to have to release, and we're going to have to move again, because we need to go 15 yards. Can you believe that? Florian, enjoy yourself. Hope you sleep well. Let's try and stop there. That got it. Now we can open the doors. Turn the bell off, because bells are annoying. Cat's just discussing the job architecture position available at the sister-in-laws. Well, there you go. Richard says, I think once you get used to them, they're okay. It took me a wee while. Yes, it does. An odd thing is he likes driving the Class 101 DMU, which also uses lap braking. It does, but it's vacuum lap braking. All right, so that's that one done. let's go and run. Oh, it's that button. I'm pressing the wrong button. Let's go and run. How about an Amtrak cab car? Haven't done an Amtrak cab car yet. That one? That one. Because I don't like cab cars very much, I'm going to find a Sunnyside one. Sunnyside to Penn Station. There we go. 11:39. That'll do. Let's do that one. Lucas says, hello, I can't get away from TSW4. I'm riding trains day and night, listening to podcasts and music. Wow, well, why not? Absolutely. Richard said, who stole the buffers? They got pulled out at during development, I recall, and I don't know why they never went back, but they never did. Out of video memory, trying to allocate a rendering resource. Ooh. That didn't go well, did it? All right. Which one was that? 641? I think that was 641. That didn't go well at all. Back in the game. Let's try another Sunnyside one. Syncing data. Yeah, you can do that. Do whatever you want. Alright, New York, Trenton, timetable. New York, Trenton, Amfleet. Let's try... Was it 645 I just tried? It was 645, wasn't it? Let's try it again. Let's see if it buffs twice. That makes me wonder if this works. So if it doesn't work, then there's just an issue. So there is an issue. I was starting to wonder if it wasn't freeing resources up. So let's run a different one. I'll report that one. That one's clearly buggered. Thank you, Michael. 645 it was. Richard says, my coal has been loaded. I'm off back down to Clinchfield. Excellent. Did you use my trick loading coal and push the train uphill? Just because that's easier? Alright, we're not going to do that one again, clearly. I'm still going to persist with an Amfleet cab car. So let's find another Sunnyside one. Let's run 641. Because I'm curious, is it something to do with Sunnyside, or is it something to do with a cab car, or is it something just for that service? So if this one loads, we'll know it's something to do with that service. If this one doesn't load, we'll try something that doesn't start at Sunnyside. Diagnosis on the fly. There we go. So it's something to do with that service. 645 is just balked. Alright, I'm going to try and remember how to set this up. It's reverser. Come on. Forwards. Yep. Good. Now. Brake. Brake mode is lead. That's correct, I think. Safety systems, I seem to recall, are down here. Not that there's that much point in turning stuff on. ETC. Access. There we go. Got it all going. Now, this one doesn't have anything to turn on at the top. Are we alive? Clearly we are. Now, what about headlights? Strobe lights are on auto, headlights are on off. Dim, bright. There we go. Outside. Do indeed have headlights on, and we don't have any marker lights on. That's good. Wait for a moment. Work. We'll start rolling if they do work okay. That's alright. Don't really mind if we start rolling. Brakes have come off. We are starting to roll, as expected. Got 10 more seconds before we're allowed to move, but we are just moving because we're nowhere near a signal. It's all fine. Right then. There's no need to push real hard because we are in fact going downhill. Now, while you are supposed to keep your bell on in a yard, I'm not going to because I find them just a little bit annoying. It's kind of like me, a little bit annoying. Richard says, no, but I'll try that next time loading uphill. It makes it a lot easier than trying to keep the thing going slow going downhill. For those of you who haven't tried to load coal in the game, you need to stay at about 3 or 4 mile an hour or it doesn't completely fill your train. It can be a little bit hard to recover from that. Lucas says, my mood today was to ride some Class 66s in the rain and lightning deep night in October. Fair enough. Free roam on timetable with noise of rain in the windows. That's really nice. Very cool. You driving the trains, Lucas, or are you just riding them? I shouldn't say just riding them. It's a perfectly valid thing to do. Matt is still going. 2,800 pounds. That's amazing. As we cruise through Sunnyside Yard. I think we need to hear the horn, don't we? I think that deserves one of them. Yes, I know I should only be going 5 miles an hour, but clearly I don't care. Not a care in the world. It hadn't even occurred to me that the LIRR could be seen from Sunnyside Yard, but of course it can. It goes through the middle of it. That's pretty cool. Still gradually cruising along. ATC won't whack me because I'm allowed to go 20 according to ATC, but the track limit is actually 8. Just be a little careful we don't get over 20 coming down here because it is downhill and it's a bit steep. That's my alerter. I think we're going to do okay on the speed department, although we're going to be over 15 when I get to the 15 bit, so let's just go for a minimum application. Just slow us down a little bit while we're going through the deep bit because we're about to go uphill anyway. Just want to make sure we're doing less than 15 when I get up here. We have got a red signal, but I think that will change when we go through the go via. I'll know in a moment. If it doesn't, I will just brake really, really hard. Has it? No. There it goes. The yard around here is so complex that you need to be a tad careful. So there's a lot of go vias to keep things under control. Lucas says driving or riding as a second engineer or passenger is always fun. It could be a good way to while away the time. I've been known to do that when I'm watching someone else's stream. .125, I really don't think so. I think about 35 is about right. So we'll start speeding up, but we're not going up to 125. It is correct as a momentary indication, but our track knowledge tells us that we are going to be going into Penn Station, so we'll be going into the tunnels shortly. And we know we don't have a great deal of speed to play with in the tunnels. We are going downhill, so we'll let gravity take it now. It's completely ignoring the track speed limit back there, so you know how it is. Lucas says, I'm looking forward for possibility in-game to set stations on paths to stop. You can do that now. You just run a path to each station. But you have to run the path again after you get to the station. There we go. This train does not have dynamic brakes, which is weird because the locomotive on the other end does, but the cab car does not. So you can only use your air brakes to maintain your speed. Minimum application is keeping us under 30. It's actually dropping a little bit now. So I will probably have to release the minimum application at some point, as we're heading down towards 20 mile an hour now. It's very hard to read this speedo because you're not looking straight at it. Once we actually do get down to 20, I'll probably release, I think. There we go. So they get back up to 30 again, and I'll put another minimum application in. Just sawtooth our way. I just noticed the speedo doesn't light up. Oh, I think there's another control for lighting up the speedo, isn't there? It's not done on your normal cab lights. We're coming into 30, so let's give it a minimum application again. It's an interesting question, Lucas, now that we've got free roam, is do you make a scenario, or do you just use free roam and put your train into the timetable? Because making a scenario that's busy is actually quite hard work. And you can use a lot more places that you couldn't use before when you're in free roam. Going back onto the brakes again, because I know we're going to get slowed down soon. About there, in fact. So we're already doing an appropriate speed. We don't need to react at all, apart from acknowledging it. So that's a good thing. Michael says lower left hand on the speedo. Yeah, I knew there was a control somewhere. There we go. Lovely. Thank you, Michael. Front of our train's going uphill. Just watch the speedo. If we speed up, then the back of the train's still coming down the hill. If we slow down, then the whole train's going up the hill. It's just wobbling around a bit, so I think we're in that uncomfortable spot in the middle. There we go. It started to slow down now, so let's put some power in. So the whole train is now going uphill. Melbourne has a new underground railroad that's railway, in fact, that's almost ready to go into service. So at some point, I shall have to go into the city and ride the thing. Be after the Japan trip, though. Into track 8 in the underground labyrinth. I haven't got the thing on. Remind me whenever I fail to put that on that you don't have the thing on, you donkey. I can't look at an outside view. There we go. Shouldn't be any people in there. I would hope there weren't. Can't actually move around very much in the tunnel. It won't let me. Nope, I can go underneath. Wow. How interesting. I've never tried that before. Who knew you can go underneath? I've managed that in Scotsman before. There's my favourite floating signal there with no bracket. Cruise. In fact, if you do go into Flying Scotsman, you can see the workings of the third cylinder, the one that's in between the frames. It does look like we're going all the way into the platform at Penn. Still climbing the steep hill. We're almost at the end of the tunnel though, so we should come out into the open basement area shortly. Change cups to the next one. Insulated tea, which is just the right temperature now that we're, what, 2 hours in? Still doing okay on the frame rates. Alerta. Just got to watch my speed. I have to go on and off the power now as we go through here because the tunnel's getting less steep. We are going to be restricted to 15 soon enough. It's coming to the end of the tunnel. Always do my favourite thing. Ah, where's my legs? We are restricted to 15 now, but we're doing 10, so that's fine. Did I open the window? I did open the window. You yelling at. 20 now. Make your mind up. There's a floating rail chair plate back there. Crawling through the very tight points, losing a lot of speed through here, so I put a bit of power into it. There's a New Jersey train moving over there. I think we might be stopping at the halfway signal, just judging by that. Getting a little bit of red on the FPS counter there. I think we are at the end of platform signal or the halfway signal. Signal coming up on the right. It's a close one. But they have to be a bit close in this station, otherwise your bum's unprotected. And your bum will be foul of another part of the line. And that should be about it. We should be able to open our doors. Yep. Get it up over there somewhere. Oh no, this is our train. There are people. Look at that. There's people everywhere. Good O. Well, that one worked fine. So we've got some that are a bit dodge by the look of it. So I shall report each of those. What are we going to do now? We haven't done the other cab car, have we? Alright, let's do the other cab car. I actually don't mind the other cab car so much. Back. That one. That one. How about this one? 5126. Still on the dynamic weather. Hopefully this one works okay. Looks like we're sweet. Right, I don't remember how to operate this one. So let's get into forwards. That should let us open the doors. Brakes look like they're already cut in, so that's good. Window. And safety systems are where? There's a panel somewhere. Ah, here we go. Alerter. There's the alerter. Oops. Cab control, radio. Come on. Aces, and this other one will be ATC probably. I would imagine. No? Is that this one maybe? No, this one? Cab heater? Get on the switch. Can't help thinking it's that one. Oh, maybe it's both. Oh, it's green, so it's working. So the one switch does both by the looks of it. Alright, let's get the doors locked and get out of here. We look good. Brakes off. And if I've got it set up right, we'll start to move. Yay! Off we go to Secaucus, leaving Newark Penn Station. Matt's cruising through Germany somewhere. 2,800 pounds. Hasn't cracked the 3K yet, but he's close. Signals are all green, no concerns there. Should probably pay some attention to what we're doing in here. Towards Secaucus Junction. Through the path station, which is called Harrison. allowed up to 60 now. Yeah, I see Matt running for, what is it now?
Nearly 14 hours Matt's been going now.
Amazing. Last year when he did this stream, I ran with permission picture-in-picture on my stream, but that's problematic when I'm streaming from Xbox. Going up the hill, not too far to Secaucus. Quick check, 3 miles. You was telling me we have a speed drop from 90 back to 60. Got a little bit of power on because we're going uphill, but not a lot. A little bit closer to 60 so we stay on time. This area ever floods. Big honk for the bridge, why not? Get off, Bell. See Secaucus up ahead. Slow down a little bit for the approach. Oops. Just bumped my controller switch there with the table. Not good. Oh, Matt's finally finished. Pop it in there. Comment out of there. Seems fair. Passengers, we are now arriving at Secaucus. Get off my train. Away we go. Brakes off. Driven the only way you can in passenger. Full power from a standing start. Off we go to New York Penn again. Track 7 this time. Next to the one we stopped at last time. Beelzebub off. Lucas says he has to sleep. Have a good one, mate. Sleep well. For me, it's kind of daytime. Allowed up to 60 now, so we'll actually allowed at 45 still because of the track speed limit. There we go. Just want to see what my phone was reminding me of. I just accidentally reloaded the stream page, then I hope they didn't do anything bad. What's my phone reminding me of? That's it. No, that's fine. So we'll just stick with the 60, just like we usually do, and roll on through. Two camera works so much better on the Xbox, you don't hit things. Still cruising along. Bit of an alerter action happening. There's a bit of flickery stuff going on the right there. Heading for the tunnels. Power off. A little bit of braking. I don't need that on. Actually, I want to start bringing my train speed down. I'd even put in some air brakes since the dynamics don't seem to be doing an awful lot. So let's pop in a minimum application. Already halfway down the tunnel. Minimum application is dropping our speed nicely. I want to bring it down to less than 45. If the dynamics weren't doing anything, or if they just don't work. I think I vaguely remember if you engage the dynamics in this cab car, they don't actually engage the dynamics at their other end. Yeah, see, it's speeding right back up again. I think that's true. It doesn't actually engage the dynamics at the other end of the train, so we will just have to be prepared to use just the air brakes. Let's just do that now. And we might as well pull the dynamics off because they're not doing anything. The air off. That looked like it went into a full service. That's alright, we'll let it cruise back up again. That'll be back on tomorrow on the Dovetail stream with some more driving, but he's also going to demonstrate the editor. Service application, £20. Got all these red signals coming up. Come off brakes again. I kind of think, just looking at the thing there, that red signal's not at the end of the platform, so you want to take a bit of care here. Let it drift back up to nearly 30 and then I'll brake again. It's interesting to think that all those pillars that you see cutting into the tunnels here and there are actually supporting buildings above the tunnels. It's part of their foundations. Most of the train will still be coming down the steep part of the gradient. So even though we're starting to slack it off at the front here, the back will still be on the 2%. So much better if New Jersey used a £7 application instead of a 20. So you could pop on a £7 and just leave it rolling down the hill and you'd be fine. It wouldn't be grippy enough to, I think we're going uphill now, wouldn't be grippy enough to stop the train or make the brakes really hot. So the signals have changed a bit now up there, so we probably are going right into the platform now. We weren't when I first looked. Pop out. Hello people. What are you doing in there? Having fun? Must be fun looking at a concrete block 6 inches from your face. Train go through the tunnel on the other side. And it's an Acela. How can I tell that? Because it's got 2 locomotives. So the only thing left after this is an ACS64, which we will do. I like the ACS64. I think we'll do a full run from Penn to Trenton, so we'll find something nice because we haven't gone back that way yet. So we should. Barber pole's already showing my stops coming up. My alert went off then. Saw it flashing up in the top left-hand corner. got a bit of power on at the moment, so I've just got to be careful. No problemo. Back to Penn Station again. Best frame rate we've seen. There mustn't be many trains in here at this time. Probably time to turn on the clanker. You have to really trust your signalman down in here, wouldn't you? They are pretty close. Down there. We're not quite hitting the poles. Bit of a narrow clearance. Well, we're with our end spot. Just leave that on, I think. It's a bit close to the signal. Passengers, we are now arriving at New York Penn Station. Please be aware of large buildings, people selling CDs that they claim are their own demos and they want you to support them. And just general scammers. Someone races up in an anime costume and says, "Hey, do you want to take your photo with me?" It's a scam. There we go. The end of another successful run, which matches well our unsuccessful runs. So next up, we'll be running an ACS64, and we will be, I think, do a full run out to the other end of the line. That seems like a good thing to do. Yeah, we behaved pretty well on this one, and a gold. Wow, look at the frame rate counter. It's going. That's not quite what I meant to do. Yes, I want to quit to the main menu. Quit. Alright. Choose a route. New York, Trenton, full Trenton, Amtrak ACS64. We'll do an official. Why don't we do something in the really early morning? We haven't done that for a while. New York Penn Station to Washington. And that's a regional, so that should stop at a couple of places. It's 54 minutes, that suggests so. Alright. What sort of weather should we have? Why don't we, I think, have a little bit of fog. Is that asking for trouble, do you think? We'll know soon. Alright. So far, so good. Let's put the reverser in. And let's get him into forwards. No, in. Right. Forwards. Okay, now we can open the doors. Now, there's a bit more to set up on here. Headlights. Do I have to do the brakes? It's on full service. It's in brake mode. Passenger. Screen wipers. Need to do the headlights. Probably actually run dim in here. Ditch lights. So there's a flash. I just want them on actually. I don't want to do a flash all the time, do I? Alright, now let's get out of the chair, because round behind us are some things to turn on. Access. Automatic train control. Not that it's very automatic. And the alerter. Sit back in the chair. And I think that's pretty much just all done. What do I do? Actually, I'll leave the screens alone because I don't know how bright it's going to be outside. Will I reduce the brightness? I think I'll reduce the brightness. So I want one lower. There we go. That's nice. There we go. May have to turn that up when we get outside, and that's fine. Let's start the doors locking. Got passengers. It's a good sign. Good sign. Away we go. Feels promising. Green frame rate. I think I can see why. There's not an awful lot of trains down here at the moment. Get a bit of a window open. Off we go. Ding, 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 ding. Just to hear it echo, of course. Had to be done. It's not got the meatiest horn, this one. Yeah, ditch lights are indeed flashing away, and I'm getting stuck on the scenery. I'm still going a bit quick, but not according to ATC, so I'm just going to let it roll up to 60 because the back of the train was still in the slow bit crossing the points, but I have a lack of care. I'll just let it speed up now. There's no need to have any power on. I'll let gravity do the work. Have a quick look at what Matt managed to raise today. Let me just refresh that page. 2802. That's pretty amazing. 111 people gave £2,802. That's amazing. A squirter. It's like Sifa, but it's not a nice, sexy girl going, Sifa, Sifa. It's just an annoying beeping thing. Where are we going to be stopping at today? Newark, Penn, Metro Park, Princeton Junction, and Trenton. Okay. 4 stops to do. It's time to put in some power. A bit more. We are finally accelerating. Hello, Rick. Train display seems huge. How did you get it like that? The one in the cab, as in this one, I haven't really done anything special. This is just the normal field of view from sitting in the Xbox. Or do you mean the track monitor up the top? It's a foggy morning out here. That hasn't hurt our frame rate half as much as I thought it would. Nice early morning run on a foggy New York, New Jersey day. As usual, I am just going to run 60 through here. My view just seems clearer. Well, this is just an Xbox S. I'm running at 2K, both on the screen and streaming. If you're running at 1080p, Rick, it would be a little fuzzy. Normally on my PC, when I'm driving just for me, I run 5K ultra wide, and then it's amazing. It's very crispy. But, I can't do that when I'm streaming, because while I can actually push out 5K ultra wide, it's not an issue. I have tried it with YouTube; it works fine. The challenge for you guys is it would be a thin post box across the middle. Through the Caucasus. I always love how it's not foggy in the stations. It's the challenge with light baking your assets. You kind of have to stop the light getting in, but it means things like fog are problematic and they don't really work properly. through Secaucus, so that puts us roughly halfway to Penn, New York Penn, just under 5 miles away. So I'll still stick with my usual method of running at 60. Yeah, 1080p will make it quite a bit fuzzy, so at 2K this is easily double the resolution of 1080p. So if you're running at 1080 on a console, on a 9th gen, I would suggest maybe a TV upgrade so that you can run at a higher resolution. I have run the X at 4K. I don't think I'd like to run the S at 4K. I don't think I'd want to do that for this route though. Different bridge view for us. The yellow. Oh, it did have a yellow signal coming up. It's gone green. Expecting a yellow this early. We're quite a long way up. Started to slow down when I saw the yellow, but I thought no. I actually have an Xbox hooked up to the same monitor that my work PC is connected to, so on this side I've got my gaming thing, and on this side of the station I usually use it for work, but I use Xbox on the monitor that I usually use for work. I've never actually tried to put the S on the 5K ultra wide. I think that potentially wouldn't go very well, I suspect. I think that would be a little bit much for the poor little S to handle. Looks like dawn's starting to break. Starting to get some colour in the sky. It's the big freeway bridge, so we're not very far from Newark Penn now. Use the regenerative braking, which some people will call dynamic, but it's not, because this is not a diesel. To start slowing us down for our approach into Newark. Definitely getting colour in the sky before. I could have been imagining it before, but not now. Lots of New Jersey stock parked over there. That looks kind of nice in the fog, doesn't it? Just going the wrong way on the throttle there. Gravity do the rest of the job as we head towards Newark. Coming into the outskirts now. Through the Harrison Path station. We've been here a few times today. Newark Penn is just on the other side of the bridge structure in front of us. been here a few times today too. A little bit of power and just get us back up to 30. Or we'll end up being late. Passengers, welcome to Newark Penn Station. If you're getting off here, I'm sorry. Remember to take all your bits and pieces with you. Children, belongings, cats, dogs, monkeys, gibbons, antelopes. If you leave your children behind, Amtrak advises they will be sold. I should go over this side. Mr. Coaster, hello. You've missed about 4 hours of streaming. Why don't we do it as it were on this platform? That seems fair. By going backwards. Why did I go backwards? Weird. Right. I'm a clown. Put the brakes on. Clowns are us. Right. Now we can get moving again. Hey, Richard. He loves the Amfleet coaches. 70s space age. The HUD is quite good, Mr. Coaster. I quite like the minimal HUD with the track monitor. There's some more features coming for both as they work through the feedback. Matt talked a little bit about them on his 14-hour stream today. Matt also let something drop on his stream today that I don't think's been announced. But I'll leave you to go and find it because I'm not going to say it. We are allowed up to 70. Let's go. We're not stopping at the airport, are we? No. Metro Park is next. Which is rather a long way away, I believe. 14 miles? Wheel slip. Well, take care of it. You're a modern locomotive. Don't bother me with your wheel slip. Back in the cab just in time. And want just a touch of dynamic braking just to maintain our speed under 70. To power up. $12 to the next one. Fly through Newark Liberty Airport on a central track. The Rails of Illinois keeps trying to tell me to run the bell through the centre track, but on the NEC they do not do that. Unless they're being nice to rail fans. Mr. Coaster Coaster, is there a distance indicator option? Well, there is. Control F1. But not part of the HUD, no. The idea is to learn the route, but I'll just pop that on and off every now and again just to check things. There's my alerter. To start pulling the power back a bit because we are getting close to the 110 that we're allowed to do. Richard says, which Australian Express route would you choose for TSW? Well, there is only one. Melbourne to Sydney. Only stops once. No, twice. Three times. Oh dear. Oh dear. It's a bit of a bummer. Something out in front of us, perhaps. Yellow line. Glad you're liking it, John907i. Welcome. Mr. Coaster Coaster says, I see reviews, it's the same bugs. If you haven't encountered any, what are these same bugs? The reviews on stream just salty. They haven't made any changes to the route, only the timetable. So the same stuff that happened in TSW4 still happens. There are a couple of extra features in that the number of trains can bring your average mediocre gaming PC to its knees. Hasn't been intolerable on the Xbox S, it's done okay for itself. The Xbox has had a couple of crashes, but that's a known issue with Train Sim World 4 at the moment that's being worked on. So the same things that happened in TSW3, like clipping platforms, like alerters going off on the New Jersey trains in AI, occasional pantograph down in AI, not having tail lights in AI. But none of those things were advertised as being fixed. So they have done some work on the signalling, and they have done some work on the timetable, but that's it. So you saw that train had no tail lights, for example. Now, I don't really know why people would be salty about that, because no one ever committed to fixing it. All they committed to was a timetable update that was done mostly in a guy's spare time. Richard says, why no other express routes between other cities? Well, there are other trains between the other cities, but nothing that I'd consider a full-on express. I mean, you might consider them to be an express, I don't know, I don't. They don't stop many places. That's because there aren't many places to stop. Our train network got gutted a little bit like the English one did in the 60s. Just gingerly accelerating back up, because I don't want to get whacked again. We're 6 miles out, so we will have to slow down soon, because we've got to change over onto the right-hand track. So at some point it'll make me do that. Yeah, that's cool. It'll come out on Game Pass. Yeah, Richard, TSW4 is marketed as a new game because it's got new features in it, and it will probably come out every year as a new game. That is my expectation. That is not inside knowledge, that is just my expectation. How far out are we now? 5 miles. I'm actually going to start powering off because I know I'm going to have to start slowing down soon anyway. Mr. Coast to Coaster says, even then and even with my shitty system, I never experience any game-breaking bugs. Only when my RAM is 100% used, which my PC freezes, and no bugs that ruin it for me, so I don't know what they mean. It's cool. I think in some of it, it's what you're willing to put up with. So there's always been some things wrong with this route. Would I like them to be different? Of course I would, but it's still playable. So, yeah, I'm not going to go on and on about them. I know what they are. You know what they are. But yes, there certainly are some salty ones out there. What I do is, what I suggest everybody do with any game, is listen to the reviews from the players. Listen to the people who are quite salty, and listen to the people who aren't salty, who have a different outlook. I know I'm going to get slowed down, so I'm just starting to bring my speed down, because we are 3 miles out now. Because I can't remember how far from Metro Park it pushes you over onto the right-hand track. So once you've listened to everybody, salty and less salty, then form a view. Watch people's videos. I mean, interestingly, on the video I put up last week, there was a person going on and on and on. I just got to get into suppression. Going on and on and on about how bad it was and how many things that were wrong, but hadn't actually watched my video where it clearly showed that those things were working. So, yeah. Some people are just in it to be salty, interested in being anything else. And there's quite a few big name YouTubers like that. Yet those same big name YouTubers who have a financial interest in other games that are full of bugs will extol their virtues endlessly. Which is always a little bit interesting. And they don't declare that they have a financial interest in those other games. There's a couple of particular YouTubers I'm thinking of who do that. John S. Gaming 347, are there still signal issues with this route? There are a couple of minor weirdnesses here and there. Like we saw one before, I got knocked down to 45 when there was nothing in front of me. Right now I'm knocked down to 45 because I'm going to be changing tracks to stop at Metro Park in a couple of miles. But a lot of the signalling was adjusted for this timetable, and they're looking to do some more adjustments to make it better. There's no promised release time frame for that.
I'm pretty sure that's someone's passion project rather than an official project. Mr. Coaster Coaster says, I'm fine with hyper-positive and hyper-negative written reviews. I just wish most would give examples on what's good and what's bad. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I try and call out what I like and what I don't like in a review. And I don't try and hide anything. I have had people in commentary and in chat sometimes say that I'm required to say nice things. I'm not. The only thing DTG ask of me, and it's an ask, it's not a demand, is they ask me to be constructive in my criticism, which I'm quite happy to be. I'll do that for any game. Mr. Coaster Coaster says he gets hating DTG, but let's hate DTG and not the game. I don't really hate DTG. I mean, I guess I've got some inside knowledge into what goes on, so being part of beta, I know what the development's like, and I know what happens. I know what their timeframes are like. I know what kind of pressures they're under. So I'm probably more accepting of some things than other people who aren't aware of just how much stress the devs are under. And that's not necessarily a DTG thing. That's just software development. It is a very stressful life. There's a reason that I am as qualified in my hobby of firing steam engines as I am in my real life job, and that's because my real life job, which is in the IT field, is very, very stressful and very, very difficult sometimes. I'm going through a project at the moment that goes live next Thursday, and this is the first weekend that I've fully had off, that I have not logged into work on either day. So I know what it's like, and I see those guys when I'm on the beta Discord. Some of those developers always seem to be there 24 hours a day, so they're working bloody hard. So I get it. And that probably does make me more tolerant than some people. Richard says, the full New York timetable is very playable on my system. I'm not sure it's a priority fix. I agree with you, by the way. Always do your research and look at both sides of the argument and then form your own opinion. Absolutely. And I'm quite happy to listen to other people too. I don't necessarily agree with some of the people that I chat with, but I play the argument, not the man. Passengers, welcome to Metro Park. Get your stuff together and get off me train if you're leaving us here. Thank you very much for riding the Amtrak today. That took a little while to stop. Beelzebub off. That'll be a nice place to stop. Is that someone coming in here? I think that might be. Alright, it's alright. Mr. Coaster Coaster says, let me tell you a very subpar route, the original New York Newark route for TSW 2020. This version seems like a massive improvement. Even the electric 64 loco for Boston Providence. Yeah, indeed. The original one wasn't exactly amazing. People on this train. Good to see. Out this game time in real life is when I'd be getting onto my locomotive for the morning and getting ready to light the fire. Went an Acela 64 with its alerter running going that way. That is one of the problems with this route. Enjoy seeing how much traffic that excuse me, how much traffic that you're getting now on the route. Let's get some power on. So, actually, I hear it is taking care of that because it's dropping some sand. We're getting slowed down. Just going to come off the speed until I see where that settles. Okay, it's at 90. Fair enough. Alright, we can speed up to 90 then. Just waiting to see if Axis came down to 45 or something hideous, but no, it's 90 for these curves, which is all good. Our next stop is 22 miles away and is Princeton Junction, which is one of the things the salty people wanted in the route. And I think part of the challenge is that people actually talk themselves into thinking there's more coming in an update than there is. Because they start to talk about what they'd like to have in the update. And I think people start to get a little bit confused between talk of what they'd like versus what's actually been announced. And the rumour mill goes crazy and people start to believe the rumours. I did see a YouTube person commenting that they thought the Princeton Junction was coming in this update and the whole Princeton line with the arrows. And that's never been announced. It's never even been an inkling. There's not been any work done on that at all. So I don't know why they felt that. I've seen lots of people talk about how much they want it. Weirdly, this particular guy is an Aussie, so he shouldn't have any buy-in at all to such a local route. Careful not to stay out of the cab because we are having to brake. Need some suppression here. There we go. Release. Release off here as well. I should have remembered the Elizabeth curves because that's where we're going through at the moment. But I clearly did not. Can pick up a little bit of speed again now though because I did brake a little too much for the curves. Mr. Coast to Coaster said, I wonder if this game is more optimised to run better. They have done a lot of work on cleaning up how they use memory and cleaning up how they use some resources. So, yes, TSW4 does have some improvements in working better. And I've seen people claiming it's worse than 3. You know, the same people claim 3 was worse than 2, too. And you run the two side by side, they're not. They're the same. Or better. Mr. Coast to Coaster said, I didn't expect much. I'm actually decently surprised with how much they added with scenario stuff, livery and lightning fog. There you go. Well, I suppose that's a way to do it, isn't it? If you set your expectations low, then you'll probably be happier with what you get than if you set your expectations falsely high, in which case you'll be very unhappy with what you get. Could be part of what's happening. That people just get a bit enthusiastic about what they think's going to come. Miles out. The momentary suspicion I was going a bit fast then, but it was a falsie. I see how nicely you can pan around with the controller. I always remember I should plug one into my PC. Miles to go to Princeton Junction, where we will drop off all of the people who are going off to study, probably, or who perhaps work there. Two trains waiting for us. Interesting. With ATC, they of course go right up to each other's butts. My bet would be the dispatcher's waiting for us to let that train out, and then it'll let the other two trains go through. So we're catching up with something, because we've been limited to 80 by ATC. And I would say we are catching up with something for the simple reasons that I've run the Acela through here twice and not had to slow down. There you go. Now we know the other thing those trains are waiting for. We're on their track. Back up we go. Smell burning sugar. It's probably our local meth lab or something. Everyone has a local meth lab, Mr. Coaster Coaster. I think it's my alerts are going off when I hear the AI trains beeping. But no, it's just them being them. You know the address of the place. I'd like to investigate, see if I can find where Walter White went. That was a good show. $10 miles out now. A little bit under halfway. Going uphill again now. Mr. Coast to Coaster says, well, he doesn't have a local meth lab. Well, you don't know if you do. He does have some neighbours that do meth. Yeah, so do I, sadly. He's a strange unit. He's often awake at 4 o'clock in the morning working on his house. Because his brain won't sleep anymore. It's a very interesting family too. I have to wonder if they kind of do it as a bit of a scam, because I believe this is the second time. But the mum and the son, who's the meth addict, move in with a single guy. Meth addict, they're calm for a year or so, and then meth addict starts beating up the single guy. Who eventually goes, but of course, after a year under Australian law, the house is 50% owned by the mum, regardless of whether they get married or not. And I know they've done this twice. And they've just forced out the guy from this house. Now that it's happened for a second time, and he knows it's happened for a second time, I'm kind of hoping there's something that can be done. Because he's a really nice guy. Does not deserve such treatment. The other two, on the other hand, are interesting. Redness. Lots of redness. First time we've seen any redness today. How far out are we? 4 miles. So I will start backing off the power, because we'll need to slow down fairly soon. It's a bit red out here. I wonder what it is about this area that slows it down. It's a bit jittery. Seem to be getting through it now. Picking up a frame rate again. I wonder if it's because the sun's coming up. Wouldn't that be weird? And I suppose it could be, because things will start casting shadows, won't they? And they weren't casting shadows before because it was dark. I guess that's possible. My feed keeps stopping every few seconds, really. Seems to be going out okay. I've got it running on a monitor and it seems to be going alright. Turn my screen brightness up a bit. I think I might just put some brakes on though. Just pop a minimum application in and I'll just turn my monitors up a little bit. Yeah, that makes much difference. Just turn both of these up a tad so I can see what they're saying. Come on, you. There we go. It's better. Off the brakes now, but we're not far out. 2 miles. Seems to be resolved, Richard. That's good. Maybe some bad tiles. Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's still a bit low. Lower than it has been. I have a faint suspicion that it's the sun coming up in combination with fog is probably causing this. Other poles lit up the top left there. I think I agree with Matt. He talked about it on his stream yesterday, that I was thinking some kind of chime or something like that. Ooh, this station's a bit closer than I thought. Might be good. Oh, I hope I'm not going to Nebworth this. It's not looking good. I'm not even sure if I'm going to have one carriage in the platform. We're going to be backing up, I think. We're going to lose the objective, I suspect. Yep. There's a new feature in Train Sim World 4 for you. Passengers, please note we are not stopping at Princeton Junction today, because your driver didn't feel like it. I actually quite like the feature of failing objectives. It's not cool for your passengers, but it means that you can still complete the service. You can't get full points anymore. Oh, we're back in the red again there. But you can actually finish the job. That, to me, is a good thing. Screen brightness up again. A few clicks. So the universe is definitely getting brighter. And our frame rate's definitely sagging a bit. Note to self, it sucks in the fog. 8 miles to Trenton. Slipping a bit. Back off a little bit. Back up to 110. Yep, bye-bye station. People have forgotten the command. Me, my EST, CST or WST, none of those things. I am Australian Eastern Daylight Time, AEDT. I'll have to change that message because there's no point going back now, because once you've lost the objective, you can go back to the station if you want to, but it won't help you. Actually sad about not stopping at Princeton. I was kind of looking forward to it. I do like a bit of a stopper route. A bit late too. Going to be a lot late by the time we get there. 5 miles to go, because I am going to have to start slowing down. I'm going to start getting whacked by signals soon. Oh well. Michael says he's currently PDT. Mr. Coaster Coaster says, if I overshoot, even if it's been an hour, I restart and try again, or quit and try. I just let it go, personally. What are we up to now? About 4? Yeah, about 4. very short in that cab. Mighty little bloke. Frame rate's picking up again. 3 miles to go. Start bringing our speed down a bit. I think it's a wise idea. See the signals indicate came from. Maybe that's what happens when you press B when you're... No, it just acknowledges it. John's Gaming 347 says, I hate when you add a station as a red signal and you passed it just by an inch to fail the whole service. Yeah, it's not much fun. Happens disturbingly often, really. It's going to get our speed down to 45. Let's use all of the regenerative braking. Because I see a yellow signal in my distance. See, it's like having a crystal ball, the track monitor. It's a little bit more like the HUD from TSC, so I quite like it. Far to go now at all. 1.5 miles. Uh-oh. Well, that went well. I think we pushed the little Xbox S maybe a little too far with that one. Oh well. What if I can I... No, we don't have checkpoints on consoles, do we? Well, that's a bummer of a way to end a stream, really. Because it's so close to the end. But I'll report that service. I'll figure out which one it was. I'm stuck on my bloody chair mat. Anyway, the little Xbox S, I think, actually did fairly well during that. I'm a bit sad about the end there. I think that's a bit crappy. But no, mostly it's done better than what I was expecting, to be honest. So, yeah, it's done all right. I look forward to them addressing the Xbox crashing issues. That would be really good. I did minimize my issues during that by reducing the number of DLC I had. So I brought it down to just what I need to run that route. So, interesting stuff. I think what I might do for my next one is I might prep that for its last chapters, because I ran it as a stream yesterday, and I might put that up as a premiere for Saturday because I'm not around next weekend, and I'll probably do something from Train Sim 4 for the Sunday and pop that up as a premiere as well, and we'll see how we go. So hopefully people have had a good weekend, a good time on the stream, and I'm going to go and get with some other stuff that I promised to do this weekend, like weeding the garden. It's going to be pretty exciting out there. At least it's sunny, it's nice. Should be fairly nice to work out there to do that. Anyway, enjoy yourselves. Thank you very much for all of your comments and all of your discussions. Service 111, thank you very much, Michael. Cool. I will report those things and then get outside. So enjoy yourselves. Thanks heaps for being around and commenting and chatting. And for the people who are lurking, thank you too. Have fun, folks. See ya. Thanks for watching, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. I always like to get your feedback in the form of likes and comments because they help me understand what you want. Give the channel a subscribe and click on the tinkly things so you don't miss out on any new stuff. And thanks for your ongoing support. And please, be safe out there.